Dan, great to have you back in the building.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
Welcome to DanceX, and really happy the company's here performing the third.
Yes.
Tell us about the third, the genesis of it, the creation of it, where it started.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's such a joy to bring ADT to Melbourne, and for me, with my long history with this company and our long history, to bring our companies together, and our dancers and our artists together. The third was the first work I made as artistic director earlier this year. The concept of the third came from a book I read called Songlines by Professor Marrugeku, and she's a professor at the National Museum in Australia, in Canberra. And this concept of the third is me as a Wiradjuri man, a cultural man. I can walk barefoot on my Wiradjuri country and access my master archive. So the idea of being able to tread barefoot on dirt and access millennia of knowledge, of stories, of connection, of meaning, of place. That idea, in collaboration with Western forms of archiving, so books, museums, libraries, cloud-based systems of archiving, the idea of collaborating the two creates a third archive, which, as Margot says in the book, is accessible to all. So the idea really launched out of this idea of an openly accessible archive that we can all access, because we all live here in Australia, we all tread this land, and we all have access to this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so when you have this idea, how does it solidify? Like, then it needs to go on the stage.
Yeah.
Needs to be translated into movement.
Yeah.
So what is your process
Yeah.
with the dancers?
First and foremost, it's conversation. It's opening and maintaining a dialogue, an open dialogue with the dancers. I am not one to dictate every step. I have a really strong sense of community, that the studio is a community.
Yeah.
That the studio is an open space. It's a space of rigorous discussion, of agreeing, of disagreeing, of all those kind of the ups and downs of community and family, and of true artistic collaboration, where you can push each other, where you can question and layer multiple meanings, ideas, physicalities, art forms, and all of that idea is really based out of my cultural background, with the idea of community.
Yeah.
We all have our place in a community. We have our song men, our song women, who just do the singing and the music. We have our dance men and our dance women who do the dancing to the song men and song women. We have our visual artists. We have our spoken artists, our people who are our language holders, our connection and our holders to our dreaming stories, the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars, the land, the elements. We have all of our roles. And I see my role in that studio atmosphere as the one of a curator, for want of a better term. For a Western term, a curator. Someone who can collate everything and then be the one to shape it.
Yeah.
Be the one to prod and poke and ask the questions. And then when something strikes, to be the one, because at the end of the day, someone has to make a decision, to be the one to say, okay, let's try that. And go, okay, that didn't work. What do we think? Why didn't that work? Ask everybody. Let's have a question. Let's have a conversation and a dialogue about it. So conversation, dialogue, tasking as well.
Yeah.
Tasking in asking really specific tasks, or opening the door to a wider idea. Therefore, if it's a wider conversation or a wider idea, I will receive something that I wasn't thinking in the first place.
Yeah.
So really allowing an agency for the performers, actually.
Yeah.
I guess is the really key part of that.
That's really collaborative.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I find it can both be harder, but I find it's definitely harder.
Harder for you, or harder for
I find it more challenging for me personally, to be honest. But ultimately, I find it more enriching and more fulfilling, because then I feel like the day where the curtain goes up and the music starts and the performers are wholly owning it, they have a full agency of it, because they had a say in the development of it.
Yeah.
They are creating material. Their own body has their own pathways. My body pathway physically is different to yours. The way and the idea of us wearing each other's clothes, they will look different. They won't fit the same.
Yeah.
So it's about agency
Yeah.
with the performers and allowing them to a full expression of that.
And so music,
Yeah.
what is, in the third,
Yeah.
where does music come into play?
Yeah, music is important, as you know, in our art form. And as I said before, I don't do what I do as a dancer without the songman or songwoman. The music in the third is made by James Howard, who's a Jadwa man from the Grampians, Western Victoria. This is a work that we've collaborated numerous times over the past couple of years. James and I worked side by side from kind of the beginning, and the launch for this work sonically was a film that we made together that he composed, a film called Mullenma, Inside Within, that I made with my son, Archie. Archie and I perform in it together, and he did the score for that, and so we used that as a jump out point to jump into another expanding the idea of archiving and what that is. And so conversation. James does a lot of recording, field recordings, or he came and recorded the dancers' voices, and so that's a really big part of his practice as well. And again, giving the dancers an agency and allowing the dancers' voices in the score, so sonically the dancers are hearing a different modified, remixed kind of version of themselves, but they are the world. So as an audience, the two hopefully really seamlessly combine with each other. So there's a support, a mutual support between the song and the dance.
Yeah. So how is it creating as a director now?
Yeah.
Is it different at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it harder?
It's more difficult because I don't have, what I'm beginning to negotiate in my own, I suppose, time management, is that, just because I'm in the studio all day making, that doesn't mean the administration stops. People are still expecting things, and I still have deadlines, and I still have future planning, everything that comes into running the ecosystem of an organization that can wholly support and holistically support the art is the rub point for me. And I'm sure it's very different for you too, because you're not making, but you're still in and out of the studio and still trying to present the vision.
Yeah, well, you used the word curator, and I thought you are a choreographic curator. And I feel like I'm curator a little bit as well, but in a very different way because I don't choreograph.
Yep.
But I do, choose the repertoire and shape it and decide what's being performed. So I find the word curator is quite relevant. Yeah. Whether it's choreographic or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, you're right. Like it is this sense of, because you've got an overarching umbrella. It's like you're looking from the third person perspective, like the eagle perspective, and you're looking down and going, okay, here is everything. How does it work?
Yeah.
How does it fit together? But also, what the core is the art. Yeah. And the artists.
So you are still creating the art, which is amazing.
Yes.
And how has your art been enriched by your time constraints? Or has it been, has it caused you to just focus in and be more productive with the time that you have?
It's definitely not allowing me, but within the time constraints, it's definitely a lesson for me to actually trust my gut instinct initially.
Right away.
Right away. I do that, and then I question it. And then it's funny, you go, that's it? And you go on this big journey. Oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And 90% of the time I end up back where I started. Goes back to your gut instinct. Yeah, it's really incredible the way that works. So I think I'm attempting to just trust that, trust the experience, my experience. I've only been artistic director for 10 months, so I don't have a lot of experience in that, but I've made work before. So trusting in the process, trusting the artist, which I do inherently, because I know that they bring their best and full selves every day, and they will always do that and on stage and present that. yeah, so it's about this kind of navigating that and support as well.
Yeah.
You know, as we're both aware, like you
Yeah.
need that external support. I have my family, which I get to go home to at night, which is
Beautiful.
incredibly grounding. You know, it doesn't matter how hectic my day was.
They
My
still
son
need
and daughter,
dinner.
they don't care. They still need dinner, they still need a shower, and they still need to put to bed.
Yeah, great.
And they still want a cuddle from Papa. You know,
That's
like
beautiful.
So for me, I get to go home to that. I get to wake up to that, and the chaos in the middle of the day is the chaos in the middle of the day. But then going home, and you know, I'm learning. Probably too slowly, as Chrissy, my wife, would probably say, but I'm learning to leave that at the door.
Yeah.
You know, when I step off my bike and the garage door closes, it's like, okay, that's there.
Dan, it's great to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you at DanceX, but I know you're going to spend much more time with us come 2023.
Yes, and we're
So
very
this
much
is
looking forward to that.
Just a small drop in the bucket.
Yes, thank you.
But great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thanks.